Hello and what is up everyone, it is Hachi from the Art of Dota, and I am back with another video. I'm still kind of feeling sick. My voice is fine now, as you should hear, but I'm a little bit stuffy, so I might sound still nasally, depending on, how I hold up throughout the video. But I had to record an analysis on this game while it's still hot. This is a game between Team VG.J and EG, played at Galaxy Battles, the meme tournament at this point, the former major, but now it is just actually a pretty entertaining tournament from what I've been watching of it. So, for context, this game is game 2. EG is 1 up, if you can check on the screen right there. And it is in the winners finals, I believe. So I didn't really watch this game completely, so I don't know exactly what happens, but I'm just going to spoil it a little bit here. So this is a spoiler warning. If you didn't watch this game before at all, or at least you don't know the results, click away from this video, watch it by yourself first, or if you don't care, then I'm just going to spoil it right now. So that's a spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. All right, so EG does end up winning this game. Now, they win this game in a pretty spectacular fashion. Not quite, EG at TI6 coming back from Mega Creeps, but almost that level. I mean, if you guys want to watch the rest of this and my analysis of it, and who is this guy, right? If you're just joining, you don't know who I am. I'm just Hachi from the Art of Dota. I already said that, but I'm also a Dota coach for a team in Southeast Asia called Team Flash. More or so, they're analysts right now. It's really hard to coach a team when you're not actually with them. I'm still currently in the U.S., but they're thinking of flying me out eventually. They're just trying to time it when we have good regional qualifiers going on, as I'm only able to stay in Malaysia for 3 months. So that's just a little bit of my background and why my analysis is relevant to you at all. And I'm also a Divine 5 player, mainly a support player. And I also have 2,000 games on IO, but I haven't made anything relevant to IO in a long time on this channel because no one really plays that hero, and I don't even play that hero anymore, which I wish I am, because the hero is really fun to play right now, and I might start making content on him again. But that's getting a little bit off topic as the draft is a little bit underway. I don't want to do this intro for too long, so let's just get right into the analysis. So for EG, they start off with the Death Prophet Nyx Assassin, and these are a pairing that they've been liking recently, most notably the Death Prophet. They just played it, I believe, in the last game against VG.J as well, or was it a different team? Hold on, I'm going to check the stats here real quick. I apologize if she had this up beforehand, but we're just doing stuff live. This is a full live analysis. I don't really have any notes written down. As I said, I didn't really watch it before, but I'm pretty good at doing live analysis. Don't worry. You're going to get solid analysis out of me. So let's just check the esports page here. Loading. Let's check EG real quick. I do have a second monitor, so the screen shouldn't lag or anything like that. Yeah, so I was worried about that. I wanted to make sure. And they've been picking DP as well against other teams like OG too. So it's actually the third game of DP they've played in a row. They've been really liking this hero, and all 3 of those games, she's been first picked. So first pick, well, not first pick, well, it's first pick for them, but second pick in the overall game. So with the DP first pick, they really like the tempo of it, and they've played it on multiple players as well. I believe in the series against OG, Sumail played it, but for this one, I believe it's going to be Fear on the Death Prophet. And he was a pretty interesting build. Actually, a lot of players in this game go for pretty interesting builds. Now, this game is quite long. It does go for around 50 minutes, and I'm going to be skipping through certain parts or speeding through certain parts. So it's not going to be a super long video. It's still probably going to be around an hour, but it's not going to be like anything super ridiculous. So buckle down, get some popcorn, and let's just get right back into the analysis. So I'm not going to elaborate too much. If you're wondering why they're banning Chen there, Chen's pretty much the new thing. EG definitely, I think, has a Chen they play in this tournament. If not, they've played it in scrims. But the reason why Chen is banned out right now is because you do this meme thing with Chen in the off lane where you just keep sending creeps back, and you actually can send the entire creep wave back if you just follow it down, and it acts as a alternative to going for the creep pull, or the side pull, whatever, the offlaner pull. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's pretty memey. I first saw it when my team did it, and I think it's actually pretty legit. And other teams, I forgot what team actually started it, but I know it was a team in Southeast Asia. And the thing is, EG is in Southeast Asia, so they might be scrimming those teams, interacting with them, but that's the reason for that Chen ban there. And of course, the PL ban as well, as PL is super strong right now, especially in the hands of Arteezy. EG has won a lot of games with it, and they're first picking that hero, similar to TNC. Let me just speed through the rest of this draft right now. Nothing too surprising there from VG.J Thunder. A lot of Chinese teams liking the Shadow Fiend as a first pick, as they feel like he's a very strong pick. Usually you want him to go with a Clockwork. The reason the EG does ban it out here in the second phase, they're going to prefer Tusk over the Clock, as they kind of fulfill a similar role, but Tusk has the advantage in that he has a save, whereas Clock can kind of save people, but Tusk literally can save them by phase shifting them. And with the Chinese playstyle, they prefer to have that, the safe, literally unstoppable save if Tusk has a Blink Dagger. And then VG gonna follow up with the Ancient Apparition. I feel like this is a pretty obvious pick, as EG already has a Death Prophet and a Dazzle. So it was just a counter to these two heroes. The interesting thing to note is OG also picked AA as soon as they saw the Death Prophet come out from EG, and it didn't work out too well for them. They actually got stomped in 30 minutes against spoilers if you didn't watch. But I assume that most of you guys watching this really don't care, or you've already seen the results. I mean, how much do people actually care about Dota spoilers, right? Usually, if you miss the game, you check the results anyway on Gosu Gamers or Reddit or Wikipedia or whatever. But EG, if they don't get the PL, they're gonna get the Terrorblade. Super popular here right now in C, especially with teams like Fnatic. Even E picking it in the first phase in multiple games. I think it's a very good alternative to PL, but I think that PL is just by far the superior hero. Now, VG.J Thunder continue this very aggressive early game draft, right? They have this Shadow Fiend meant to dominate the mid lane. He's most likely going to be supported by the Tusk or Ancient Apparition, and Batrider is there to cement their early game advantage. This hero, you give him a couple levels and he's incredibly hard to deal with, especially when you're a hero like Dazzle. Your only option is to TP away or die to him. And you can try to grave and run, but that's not going to work. You can grave and TP. The thing here is that EG kind of have a counter somewhat to Batrider already in this second pick Nyx, but VG.J just want to go for this aggressive pick off, then take your tower strategy, and they're going to last pick their super hard carry that will not only secure their towers, but also carry the game, and that is the Luna, a classic Sylar hero as well. Interesting that Arteezy, or not Arteezy, EG do ban out the CK last ban. It's gone now, but I think CK is not that good against Terrorblade, so surprised for that ban there. But Luna is also not very good against Terrorblade. I'd say Luna's even worse against Terrorblade. But again, VG don't really care about what EG's lineup it feels, right? The only counter pick in their draft is the AA. If anything, they counter pick themselves with the Batrider and the Luna. And with EG's last pick being the Abaddon, they just want more defensive heroes, because EG feel like they don't need to be on the offensive in this game, because they have this natural counter pick to VG's draft in the late game, as well as VG not having a very strong late game with the SF mid. I mean, he definitely falls off really hard, falls off harder than a Death Prophet. In Arteezy's interview after this game, he really said that he didn't feel at any point in this game that they were going to lose. He felt like they just had the superior draft, and if they can stall the game for long enough, they were going to win. The problem, however, arose in the early game, where they definitely just got stomped on by VG.J Thunder. That's why the title of this video is the best early game versus the best comeback, as EG does have a lot of coming back to do after the early game, as we're going to see. It is paused right now. I'm just going to move to free camera, and I might do this in caster perspective. I wonder. So this is caster perspective where, the camera is all smooth, or I can do it in like regular Dota, all jerky cam and things like that. I'll do caster perspective. The camera is not that important for analysis anyway. This would be easier for me to move the camera around in the regular mode, but I like the smooth drag. Anyway, the game is going to get underway. Nice donkey courier from EG, but I believe Arteezy is going to head to the offlane to start it off. Crit will be supporting on the Nyx Assassin. As for Misery, I'm not sure where he heads. Might start mid. That's some drawing on the map. I'm not sure what that said actually. So Yang is setting up for a creep wave pull at this point, and we're going to be closely watching VG.J Thunder's movements in the early game, as Arteezy said himself that they're the best early game team in the tournament right now. So we're watching them very closely. Looks like everything's so standard so far. Tusk is going to block the off lane, I believe, and then Luna's going to rotate to the off lane. She doesn't want to deal with this Terrorblade lane. They'd rather have the Bat go on the Terrorblade, and then the A is going to block mid. This is pretty standard start to the game if you guys aren't familiar with how the start of the game looks like. As you know, in most professional casts, they don't really point these things out. But, the standard right now is the support, or the 5-position support usually always blocks mid, while the mid picks up both runes, or one rune. Did he take both? Or did he just take one and go mid? Yeah, he took one. And then the offlaner, either Tusk or Clock, the most popular, not offlaner, 4 positions, will, block the offlane, like this. And then the carry or offlaner will start just laning with a lane advantage. But since it's the Abaddon there, pulling the lane back like that isn't too important, but it still helps out the Luna a little bit. But for having that lane control, let's move it back to regular speed here. It's a little bit too fast, as early game is pretty important to watch over. I'll speed it up once things start slowing down again. But in the early game, we have all 3 lanes to watch, right? So it will be Misery helping out mid, and he just gets straight up outplayed here by Kama, eating the raise combo, and he goes down. So things are already not up to a good start for EG, and this is the thing about playing a support that against an SF when you're trying to zone him. You have to be very careful. Once he hits level 2, he gets the raises up. You get hit by that double raise, triple raise, and you can die very easily, especially if you're like a low HP, in tier. Now for Sylar, it's open to the last hits and denies. He should be able to pretty much free farm this lane. Abaddon's a little bit annoying for him, but not that big of a deal. As you can see, he's harassing Sumail back. Sumail might even die here. He's definitely outplaying himself. He tried to deny, and those are just not really minor mistakes. I would say pretty major mistakes from EG. Just overplaying, thinking they can do more than they actually could, underestimating the damage coming out from VG.J Thunder. And now Fear almost goes down as well. Now he's forced back to base, and they're already off to a pretty disastrous laning stage without VG.J doing really anything spectacular, right? Sylar did a really good job of trading with Sumail. That's how he got that kill. He really optimized the amount of damage he did on Sumail, and Sumail definitely, knew that he couldn't run away at some point. So the only option he had was just to stand and try to deny himself. And unfortunately, he mistimed it a little bit, and he ended up going down. Now they're gonna get a second kill there on Misery, who got caught out. He got forced out mid here, then he ran over here, and then Tusk and A went to cut him off, and there's nothing to do. Oop, we missed a kill onto Shadow Fiend again. There's a lot for us to watch here. But it was just a rotation from Nyx Assassin. We're going to rewind, actually, that's not important. With Nyx Assassin coming mid, at this point, Death Prophet can secure pretty easy kills on SF as without boots. He just gets slowed down by the Spirit Siphon and he'll die. She does a fairly decent amount of damage with Crypt Swarm as well. On the bottom lane, Batrider is doing pretty okay in this lane. Not too great, not too bad. Arteezy does have a lot of knives. I believe Arteezy has free farm and Sylar has free farm, but the only one that gets farm in EG is Arteezy. Eventually, I think Fear has a very hard lane, and even Sumail. But at this point, there's going to be another gank here onto Sumail. Very good rotation from Fade. He was showing mid for a little bit, then he stayed off the map. Sumail didn't see this coming, and he probably survives through the dazzle. So he knew he had a lot of backup, so he was able to play aggressive. Even with the Tusk coming in, he survives. He salves up. Now he's actually going to try to turn it around, which in this lane, it's 3v2, and at this point, EG is going even, and he even gets a kill there. So very good play there from Sumail. They trade 1-for-1, but I don't think Sumail needs to win this lane. He's definitely affecting Sylar's farm at this point, as Sylar is just spending a lot of time fighting. But if he gets his kill here as well, it might just be worth it, and he will. Oh, Misery gets the heal off, and now he goes down. So at this point, Fade goes immediately mid. Very good block off. One thing with Tusk is you can actually block the full mid lane if you get it well placed. And then they try to, or not they, it was only Fear. Fear tries to dive Kama to get the counter kill, as he knew there was no way that he was going to run. But Kama was able to just back off on their tower, had the magic wand, turned it around on him, and now they're going to Shrine. Perfect time to Shrine as well. Very efficient Shrine here with 2 cores on it. Batrider is kind of on his own island at this point. Now, for VG.J Thunder, like, they feel very good at this point, right? They want to be ahead like this in the early game, as they, for sure, they know that they don't have the late game. Like, they're going to feel the pressure all game to try to end. While EG, again, they don't feel that pressure. They feel like they can just hold off, and as long as they get their farm up, as long as they survive, they stall out the game, they're going to be just fine. And Arteezy, at this point, has pretty much taken over the bottom lane. Bat ends up dying, and they're going to start to pressure the tower. Fortunately, he doesn't have an Aquila, but the catapult is here, and with the Yang coming back in and dying to crit, that's a bit of a questionable play for him there. They should actually be able to pretty much finish off this tower. In the meantime, we missed the kill there onto Sumail, as he ends up dying again. And Sylar just trying to mirror Arteezy here in the top lane, but the lane is not quite as pushed out, and with the catapult, is that the Dire catapult? There's the Rain catapult, but not having that big of a creep wave to be its buffer, it'll probably end up dying, and they're not going to get the tower. Well, in the bottom lane, this catapult's still healthy, and it has a healthy creep wave in front of it as well, and Arteezy even using the illusion there. Whoops. Do I not have enough disk space to record this? Problem? Okay. Saved. I'm clearing my recycle bin, and after my recycle bin is cleared, I have enough space. Saved. Nice. Anyway, back to the game. Sorry about that. There Arteezy died. You know, this is a live commentary. It should happen. Sometimes you're literally about to run out of storage space while you're recording a replay analysis, and you don't want to re-record it because you're sick. And this is kind of a guerrilla recording. It's more so to watch, you know, when you're trying to chill, learn something about Dota, but also just chill. Listen to my voice. I'm not sure how soothing it is because I'm still kind of sick. But, you know, you get the idea. Anyway, Arteezy dies for the tower, which is not good, and they even lose crit there second time. Very good rotation there again from Fade. I mean, he's done a lot for VG Thunder already. 2, 1, and 4 on him, and he's the playmaker for VJ in this early game. Now, if you compare Arteezy's farm to Sylar, he's going to be a bit ahead in terms of net worth. Sylar will be ahead, however, because he didn't die, and he's stacking up these kills. But they're very close to being even. There's going to be a continued fight in the top lane as Sylar is left up here alone. He does have his ultimate, but can't really kill Abaddon with it. Sumail is saving up his point in borrowed time, but when he sees the Luna ult come out, he'll scale it up, and he'll just eat it up. Now, in the mid lane, very good block from Fade here again. Now, this is actually a very popular support duo being picked up right now. This is AA Tusk. They're very potent in the early game. You put these chili fingers on, and you see AO's even maxing it out at this point, and you get the block off along with the cold feet, and you can secure a lot of kills in the early game. I think you might actually be able to kill Sumail here. Again, he probably has borrowed time. Yeah. As he will skill it up now, but I think it's actually too late as Kama, very good rotation coming in, and he makes the rotation top, and they're going to be able to finally finish off this tower that they didn't get previously. However, in the mid lane, Fear is going to be able to put some counter pressure on. However, he's only level 6, and they don't have much of a creep wave, so I don't think there's going to be too much damage to this tower at all. Misery even coming in and tanking the tower shots a little bit, so they want to maximize the damage they do with Exorcism, but I think this is, for the most part, going to be wasted. And this is all still making space for EG. Like, this push isn't really meant to take the tower, it's more so to draw TPs mid so they can't TP bottom and kill Arteezy. But they don't want to die like this, as they lose their top tower, as SF's going to finish that off right now, and they lose 2 mid, Dazzle as well as Fear. This is going to buy some time for Arteezy, but now he has to start being afraid, as after those 2 kill mids, VG.J will start running bottom. So he's going to leave the illusions to push out the lane. Now, at this point, Arteezy will just want to play on this side of the map. He's just going to farm these 2 camps. If it gets real dangerous, he'll walk back up here, farm the Ancients. And if he sees heroes on this side of the map at all, he's just going to be constantly pushing this wave in and eventually securing this tier 2. Kama is just mirroring Arteezy's movements right now. And that's what VG.J Thunder needs to do, right? They can't let this Terrorblade do this bottom without either putting pressure back or forcing him out. And the better move is to put pressure back, because to force him out, they'll take too many heroes. As I mean, he's an easy kill, but if you look at their lineup, they don't have the best ganking yet until the Batrider gets a Blink Dagger. Right? The best they can do is try to walk up on him, and he's decently fast, and he should be able to just run away. The reason why he's so fast is he does scale movement speed with Agi, right? And does have a decent amount of Agi, so it's actually moving relatively fast without any like move speed items. Normally Terrorblade actually goes for like a drum, and he's really fast. But Arteezy, if you notice what he has here queued up, very interesting build. I believe one of the first battle furies to ever be built on Terrorblade in a professional game. He built it on PL, he built it on Spectre. I guess Arteezy is really loving this new EG, because with both Fear and Sumail really playing a more sacrificial role, Arteezy is able to farm it up, rice it up like the olden times. Sure, like Arteezy is like having the most fun he's ever had playing for EG, except maybe when he like first joined, when he was still playing mid. Now, if you look what Crit has queued up, it's even more interesting. If you have been following what has been going on in Galaxy battles, as Sumail did do this as well, but Crit has a Meteor Hammer queued up and straight up being rushed as well. Right? He literally has Brown Boots, 2 components of Meteor Hammer, and he has a stick and the rest of the components queued up. Now, for the rest of EG, they have standard items. Yules for Death Prophet, Sumail, drums, nothing out of the ordinary. Again, nothing too greedy either. You notice it's not a Midas. Like you normally see a lot of Abaddons going for Midas, but no, it's going for this more team-oriented item on the drums. So that's why Arteezy is not going for drums, as it's probably the most popular Terrorblade build right now. If you want to know what EE's build is, not EG, E's build is drums, Yasha, Manta, and BKB. But for Arteezy, he's like, nah, screw that. I'm going to go for Battle Fury. I'm going to rice it up. I'm going to get as much farm as humanly possible on this hero. Now notice, Arteezy is doing exactly what I said he would. He's just going to stay in this bottom area. Notice he's not going up here. He's not doing anything. He's constantly in this bottom lane. As soon as he sees heroes top, he's going to push the lane in. And then once the creep wave gets too close to the tower, again, he's went for this very greedy build, so he doesn't want to be anywhere near the tower. He's just going to farm it up here, while Crit is pretty much acting as his bodyguard. He's bodyguard Crit right now. Bodyguard Crit Nix. Got the wards placed, good wards to cover any potential rotations coming in, and he also is just body blocking to catch any smokes, and he can just try to carapace, stun, and get away. And even if he does end up dying, he'll at least save Arteezy's life. He'll take the bullet for him. Now, I'm not really following what VG.J has been doing recently. I've been mostly following Arteezy and his unique build, but they've not tried to pressure Arteezy out. And why haven't they done that? Again, that takes too many resources, and they'd rather accelerate their own farm as well as put their own pressure on the map. By pushing this top wave in, they're making sure that no one on EG can get farm. Notice they've been getting kills periodically, right? They've killed Fear once, now they've killed Sumail. They're putting their pressure up here, and they're just choking EG out. Now, they're pretty much saying, all right, Arteezy, you can farm, but the rest of EG, you can't, right? If you're showing up to lanes, we're going to kill you. And they're prioritizing that over shutting down Arteezy. And it's definitely the right play, because would you rather shut down Arteezy and give space to the rest of VG to catch up, or would you just shut down the rest of VG and then make Arteezy the only strong hero? Now in a fight, that's very easy because they have a Bat Rider. So if they ever at any point kill Arteezy and his team can't save him, I mean, EG's done. They literally just focus Arteezy. If he dies, Arteezy or EG's done. So they're gonna make that move. They're gonna give Arteezy free farm, but he's only able to get this free farm because the rest of his team is sacrificing for him. Now, what eventually ended up happening was Arteezy started pushing the bottom lane here, and they actually rotated Fear in with an Arcane Rune ultimate, and actually forced some TPs back from VG.J, and that relieved a lot of pressure. And notice within those couple minutes, they've gained somewhat of a gold lead back. But now this is opening up our opportunity for Fade to catch out Arteezy, and with a very good... Oh, never mind. He just gets the Sunder off. And he walks out. So in the A blast hit there perfectly. Sunder saved his life, and this is space for the rest of VG.J. Or the rest of EG, I mean, against VG.J. So notice VG finally put their attention onto Arteezy in the bottom lane, but now notice Sumail is pushing top. He has his drums complete. He's pushing lane out. He's got a decent amount of farm. Crit finishes his Meteor Hammer this time, and Fear also is getting a lot of space mid. Now Arteezy realizes that at this point it's too dangerous for him to stay in the bottom lane, as Bat Rider most likely has his blink very soon, but also there's a bunch of heroes here, right? He just wants to be literally on the opposite side of where all the enemy heroes are, and since VG.J is like, alright, we're done with you, Arteezy, we're going to push out the bottom lane, Arteezy just rotates the other side of the map, starts farming his own jungle. Now at this point, we can speed up the replay a little bit. I don't think much will happen. The game will just continue the way it is right now. So VG.J with the major advantage is just going to push out the lanes. But notice every time they group up and push, EG's position themselves not only on the other side of the map, but they've pre-positioned themselves with the hero pushing out the lane. So the thing about... I'm going to pause right here. The thing about Dota is, right, if the enemy team groups up and push, the only way you punish it is by, you know, pushing yourself if you can't defend. And clearly at this point, EG is not in a position to defend. Now, what happens a lot of time in pubs is because carry players and, you know, players in general, core players, are greedy and they want to farm jungle rather than push out the lanes. When a team gets an advantage, they start grouping up and pushing, and your waves are not pushed out, you can't go for a trade like EG did. And that's why pushing out lanes is so important. And I really got to emphasize that. Notice Sumail was pushing the wave out top way long beforehand, as soon as he saw that VG.J Thunder were bottom. And that allowed them to go for this tower trade. It's still not an even trade, as only tier 1 for tier 2, but it's better than nothing. Now, let's get back to the replay. And because they did get that tier 1 so early, they're able to even pressure this tier 2 a little bit, and you can see why this Nyx Assassin build just makes sense. Normally, Nyx Assassin wouldn't pressure a tower at all, but with his Meteor Hammer, he's suddenly starting to pressure towers, and it forces VG.J Thunder back. Albeit they're probably going to back anyway, as they've already maintained control of this bottom lane with all these wards, as well as taking this tier 2. So, forces Kama back, and I expect a smoke coming soon from them, as all their waves are pushed out. And as soon as I say that, yeah, they're grouped up, they're smoked, and they're going to smoke us 4, as Sylar goes back to base to heal up, and he's going to push out mid. And Fear is the unfortunate victim. Oh, Alright, we're too fast here. We're too fast. What happened to Arteezy? How did Arteezy die there? Hold on, we're gonna watch this game. This smoke is pretty important. So this is just a tempo smoke for VG.J Thunder. When you are a team that is ahead, you want to use your smokes pretty liberally, as it's going to allow you to put pressure on the map and secure more objectives. But you want to use them at the right time. Notice they've just pushed out the bottom lane, and no hero has been down here to push it back out. They've warded everywhere over here, and they've also pushed out the top lane with the SF. So the waves are all in their favor except for the mid lane, but notice that's Sylar's job. Right, there's smoke does 4, Sylar. One lane is pushing in. Sylar, you're going to get mid, and the rest of us are going to smoke and find a kill. Now, because the lane bottom is pushed in, they can expect that someone's going to go bottom to defend it. It should be Arteezy, but Arteezy messes up here, and he stays too long top. He gets caught by this amazing block by Fade. He just gets raised down, and they even find a bonus kill here with this sick ward onto Fear. Now, they get a pick off on 2 cores, a huge smoke, and that's why you got to go for a smoke. It's a perfect opportunity to smoke. EG didn't see it coming. Arteezy ideally TP'd way earlier on to the bottom lane. But EG hasn't entered their zone yet. This is like an anime. They're not ready to come back yet. This is like an anime. VG.J, Thunder are like the villains, and EG are like the main protagonists, and they just always get stomped on in the early game. That's exactly what happened. For perfect smoke from VG.J Thunder, and those 2 kills, what does it result in? Again, since the waves were pushed out, Luna was, designated to push mid. The wave was pushed down enough for them to take 1 tower, and then they go top, and they take another tower. Now, what is Crit doing? He's memeing the mid tower. And it's actually quite hilarious. I think this is his second cast. He's slowly taking the mid tower. And Nyx is the perfect hero to do this, as he has invis. He's relatively hard to kill with Spike Carapace, and he actually will just finish off the tower. And that's pretty sick of him. And now he TPU's back to base to safety, and now of course with all heroes showing mid and top, Arteezy is going to head back to bottom lane and make this his home. Now at this point he'll need a lot more protection. He needs defensive wards, he needs Nyx to cover him, because his Bat Rider does have a blink down. He can very easily get picked off, as he did over here. Now what does VG.J Thunder do? They go for another tempo smoke. Notice again as the lanes are all pushed out except for the bottom lane. And where does Luna go? Luna goes to the bottom lane. Now you don't have to wait for all 3 lanes to be pushed out. You need 2 lanes pushed out, but you don't want to smoke as 5. Notice VG Thunder 2 times in a row they didn't smoke as 5. Smoked as 4. They found a pick off onto Dazzle. Not the ideal pick off, but where does Luna go? She goes out to the other lane that's pushed in, and who pushed in the lane? It was Arteezy. And now she's going to continue to push in the lane as they're going to regain control of their jungle. They're going to make sure that no one's in their jungle. And where does EG have to go? They have to go top. The waves are pushed in somewhat. And not only do they need to go there to get farm, they also need to go to push it back out. And that's where VG Thunder have an option to, farm. Or here, they have a superior objective with Roshan. And they're going to go straight for it. Now, Death Prophet to show top. EG now is scared. But they know something fishy is going on, right? VG suddenly showed from going bottom to disappearing off the map, and they know that they have to be going for Roshan. However, Fade with a perfect play there, blocks the smoke, comes in with a perfect ice shard, and EG, however, will take this fight. I believe they take this fight. Oh, it's even. It's very close to even popping that Aegis. However, now EG's at a significant disadvantage. They don't have meta, and they don't have Death Prophet ultimate. Now again, I'm going to do a bit of a rewind. Oh, went back too far. Crap. Did I go too far ahead? Yeah, alright. I'm sorry. So at this point, right, Arteezy is pushing out the bottom lane, and notice that VG Thunder were there before. I'm just gonna speed through it real quick. So yeah, Luna goes bottom, she pushes the wave in, and you expect her to go for another wave. And that's what EG should expect, right? They're like, okay, Luna should be here, but oh, there's a Terrorblade illusion here. Where's Luna? Where's Luna? Where did Luna go? She is definitely either farming ancients or they're going for Roshan. Now EG is like, oh crap. VG Thunder is going to go for Roshan, and they got back to the base. They responded to this relatively quickly. Unfortunately, Luna and SF do way too much damage, and they don't get there in time. And they don't even get there in time to take a fight right away, as Fade gets the perfect ice shards off, blocks them from the pit, forces the fight over here. However, EG do have the high ground advantage here, and VG Thunder rush into this a little bit here, and with the Bat Rider getting stunned out and taken out, they don't have their disabler, and they actually almost lose this fight on VG Thunder. And this was just EG with the superior positioning on the high ground, and they knew their draft was stronger too. They pre-weaved and everything, and they just stood on the high ground, and they're like, oh, you want to fight? Come at me, bro. And VG came at them, surprisingly, and VG easily could have just, had the Tusk block them off and just run away. Go farm. Take that Aegis. But they got a bit overly ambitious there, and they underestimated EG's draft, similar to how EG underestimated VG Thunder in the early game, and this is where EG starts to come online. Let's slow back the replay down, as it's going to be pretty interesting to see what they do here. As I said, they're going to be at a pretty big disadvantage at this point. no Metamorphosis, no DP Ultimate, and VG Thunder has an Aegis. Now, what is VG Thunder gonna do? They're gonna go high ground. So, Fear is like, well, I'm pushing out the bottom lane. It's pretty unlikely I get ganked here. If I do get ganked here, well, that's gonna suck, but that's just gonna slow VG Thunder's push. I'd rather get ganked here in the bottom lane than getting my high ground threatened. And he does see VG Thunder mid, so he's pretty safe at this point. And he even has the Dazzle to back him up, just in case. Now for VG Thunder, they're like, how are we going to approach this high ground? We don't feel like our Luna really can go high ground yet with the items she has. She really wants this kind of weird item decision making from Sylar, honestly. Because, again, EG's high ground defense is strong. I'm surprised they didn't go high ground immediately with the abilities on cooldown, but it's just this China's playstyle to play a little bit more safe. And keep in mind, Sylar doesn't have the Aegis. It's Kama who has the Aegis and the BKB. So if Sylar tries to go high ground, he's the main high ground hitter, right? SF, does some damage, but not amazing damage to the building. It's Luna that's going to do most of the damage. He's the one with the Aegis, and Sylar definitely can be focused, and that's what he's afraid of. So they actually let EG catch back up, not in terms of farm, but in the position in the game, by letting their cooldowns come up again. And in addition, they did force that mid, looking like they were going to push, and that gave a lot of space to EG. And it's just some indecisiveness from VG Thunder. They either commit mid or they regain control of map. They don't let EG split up like this. Now, the worst thing happens here, as if you look from... Actually, this is even bad. Not even bad for EG. Alright, this is well played from Sylar, actually. So he shows up top by himself, seemingly by himself, as EG are actually waiting for this. They push the top lane in, and they fake back, they hit in the trees, and they're waiting for someone to show. And Sylar shows with the Manta style. He avoids them. The rest of the team comes in, and now they get 3 kills. And this is what VG Thunder were looking for. They're looking for this opportunity where EG are just straight dead. They don't want to go high ground with all of EG alive, even without their cooldowns. Or maybe they didn't keep perfect track of the cooldowns, so they're not sure. And they didn't want to take any risk, because they do know that EG have the better late game. And they know they're very far ahead right now. And the only way that EG is going to come back anytime soon is if they win a full-on team fight, 5v5. They kill Luna, they kill SF. As keep in mind, SF has a bit of a streak on him. However, their lanes weren't pushed out enough so that they can immediately transition those kills into a high ground push, and EG is able just to sit on the high ground, wait out those death timers, and actually hold. And notice that VG Thunder still don't want to go high ground. Now at this point, a lot of people are like, why, casters, analysts during the game, they're like, oh, VG Thunder is playing a little bit slow. Why are they not going high ground? They can force it. It's just they don't have the items they need. Because Sylar doesn't have a BKB. Now, if you imagine a team fight where Sylar goes high ground, and he gets stunned by a Nyx Assassin, and he gets slowed by something, Terrorblade's wailing on him with the Terrorblade illusion summon, Sylar can get bursted very easily bursted. The only hero to save him is Tusk. So if Tusk is not on point with his save, which he does have a blink, so I do think that VG Thunder can go high ground. Because the Aegis is not on Luna, they don't feel comfortable. Because if Sylar dies, they're in a pretty bad position. Because Sylar dies, suddenly all the creep wave pressure on the map is going to be forced back. It's going to buy all this time for EG to buy back, or catch up, not buy back. And they know that EG had the late game. So they're actually making the... I don't know if it's a safer play, actually. I would say it's even more of a riskier play. As it's probably safer that they try to just end now, but because they don't want to take this risk, it's weird, right? They know that if they push and fail right now, they're going to put themselves in a very bad position. But if they continue farming, they're still going to put themselves in a bad position, but of course not as bad as pushing and failing. So they rather take the risk of this game lasting longer than taking the risk of going high ground and throwing their lead away. Because for sure they know how strong EG's high ground defense is. But now at this point, it feels like they're a little bit indecisive. And they're like, oh wait, we still have this Aegis, the lanes are pushing, someone's making the call. And they're like, oh, just go high ground. What are we doing? Right? Terrorblade's getting more and more farming as a battlefield, for God's sakes. But at this point, they literally try, and you see what happens. They're like, EG's like, alright, Sylar's your building hitter. What are we going to do? We're just going to throw everything on him. And he gets scared because he doesn't have the or BKB or the Aegis, so he just backs off. gets weaved, he gets stunned, meteor hammered, and he backs off. Now, the perfect time to go for a gank is when the enemy backs off, because usually that's when they're going to split up. They're like, oh, these lanes need dealing with, and these jungle camps need to be farmed, and now EG try to look for an opportunity. Now, this should be obvious to VG Thunder because suddenly no heroes are showing mid. However, the rest of the lanes are pushed out. And this is why that play was indecisive from VG Thunder. Like, I was fine with them attempting to push mid if the other waves were pushed out, but they're not. So now this opens up an opportunity for EG to gank them, as they see these waves pushing in, but this is not super obvious. They're gonna scan out now. They're gonna ping, and they know the EG is coming for them. Even Misery is not smoked for some reason, but most important thing that EG does this is they regain map control. It's not that they get a kill. They put this ward here, and now what they're gonna do is just wait, see if VG.J Thunder mess up, and they don't. Right? They accurately just sit there at the secret shop, and they know EG's coming for them. But during this whole time, what was Arteezy been doing? He's sending the illusions to the waves, so EG with this smoke gained map control, pushing the waves in, and now VG Thunder have to spend the next couple minutes or so pushing the waves back out if they want to make a play. So even though EG don't kill anyone, they've gained so much time with this play. More time for Arteezy to farm, and there's still an opportunity that someone from VG Thunder might just accidentally walk into them, thinking that they've already left. But notice now, bottom wave is pushing in. Fear is even going to push it in more. The mid wave was pushed in. VG Thunder had to push it back out. And EG still just positioning in a defensive position, waiting for someone to walk up. And exactly that's going to happen. VG Thunder walk up to them, and they get a kill. They use Metamorphosis, and that is what you can do with map control. The initial smoke didn't work up, but because they gained map control, they position themselves aggressively on the map again. With the waves pushed out, they're able to get this pick off, right? Otherwise, if VG Thunder had the map control, all the waves are pushed in. There's no way that EG get a kill like this. But because of what they did, they scared VG Thunder into hiding over here. They bought a lot of time. They get that kill, and it's most likely going to result in this tower being taken out as well. Actually, no. They're a little bit afraid of a potential buyback or anything like that. So they're just going to back it off for now. They're going to take what they can. And notice Misery is drawing this line here. He's like, we got to push out top, and we're going to keep camping this ward. It's a decent chance that someone walks up here again to try to de-ward or something. They're just going to stay off the map. They're going to show some male mid, and they're going to continue to camp the ward. Because decent chance that they see the bat die there. Oh, there's a ward, and then A tries to walk up, Tusk tries to walk up, and they die again. Buy more time for EG. But VG Thunder played smart. No one walks up to the ward, and in a pub that happens all the time, right? You see someone die, and they ping, oh, ward there, and then if the enemy team is smart at all, they just wait at the ward. You have the better vision advantage there. The support walks up, mostly alone, without like a quelling blade or anything to kill the ward immediately, and then they just die. But VG Thunder are too smart for that, and they walk up and take the ward now after they realize that EG has left their jungle. And the reason for that is Sylar is starting to split push top, and they don't want him to get too far deep down the lane, as they want their waves in a good position. Again, because they don't have any plays if their waves are not in a good position, but they're also not in a rush at all to make any plays, right? Now, at this point, they don't have Metamorphosis, they don't have Metamorphosis for about 50 seconds, so VG Thunder, they had Luna push the wave as much as she could. She TP'd back immediately, and now they're going to go for a gank. Notice where EG's position. They always have like Nyx, Abaddon in the front. They want Arteezy hidden if the enemy are missing, only using his illusions to push out the wave. And he is kind of playing with fire right now, sending his illusion first. He narrowly dodges them. They do scan out the smoke, so he's playing with fire, but he narrowly avoids them, and he continues farming as well as pushing out the waves. Now Samuel knows that this is where VG Thunder are, so he's going to push out bottom, and he's just playing the split push game. He's just going to play this cat and mouse game with VG Thunder, and it's slowed down a bit quite again, so we're going to speed it up. I don't want this video to last 10 million years, and EG hasn't begun their comeback yet. But notice, like, the kill score is 25 to 6. The gold lead is 12k. but it just doesn't feel like VG Thunder can end the game. As they tried once with the Luna walking up high ground, which is because of the nature of EJ's draft. They have such these good high ground defense heroes that Luna just doesn't feel comfortable, right? And VG Thunder is like, oh, we're just gonna wait for the second Aegis. We're gonna get that Aegis and cheese, and then we're gonna try. And I believe they do take the high ground with that, but they get a good pick off there onto Nyx Assassin, and it's just a matter of time. Right? Because VG Thunder was so far ahead, EG is gonna naturally lose heroes. With Nyx getting caught out. Now the big thing here is Arteezy getting caught out. He does have the BKB though. He gets graved up. He gets the Sunder off, and you see how difficult he is there to kill. VJ commit everything. This wave was previously pushed out by Samael, and they have to go attend to their lanes shortly. So Kama's gonna go bottom, Luna's gonna go top, and they don't even go for the Aegis with those kills. Now keep in mind, I do think that EG can take a fight in the Rosh pit if VG Thunder aren't careful. And it just shows what better drafting do, even 13k gold behind. It doesn't feel like it matters too much. It feels like the game's actually relatively even right now. Now at this point, Nyx Assassin gets caught out, which is a very big deal. I believe he does buy back here. Yeah. So there's the buyback from Misery, and immediately EG's like, this is the way they're going to end the game. The only way they end the game is if they get this Aegis and cheese, and we can't kill them multiple times. Right? They just don't have the strength to. They can kill them once, but they can't kill them multiple times. So he does buy back there, and immediately scares VG Thunder away. Now, they also get a DD rune here onto Arteezy, and I believe this results in a good fight for VG.J Thunder, actually, as they clump up a little bit too much here on the high ground, and they just kite Arteezy. Actually, hold on, slow it back down here. So Tusk went in. Hold on. Rewind. Guerrilla analysis. So EG go for this wraparound play here. Arteezy actually buys out for this. He's like, alright, this is going to be the fight. We're going to go ham. I don't feel like I'm dying. I have a DD, and if I buy out this Scotty, I'm super tanky. And worst case scenario, I get graved and I sunder someone. So he's going to go ham here. Pops a BKB, pops a Metamorphosis, pops illusions, Manta even, and he just tries to go ham. However, all his illusions die, and Faye just put so much disruption in the fight here that EG have a difficult time killing anyone, as they don't really have the best disables, as I mentioned. And Fear walks in the wrong direction, gets caught out by the rest of VG Thunder, while EG walk into the Rosh pit. Now at this point, VG Thunder scouts them out entirely. They don't have DP anymore. Metamorphosis is starting to time down. They're actually going to buy back on Fear. They know that if they can get this Aegis, this is a very huge deal. And now with that Meteor Hammer from Crit, was there that won that fight there, killed Luna. That was a huge kill. Now EG get the Rosh. That was a very important Rosh. I mean, VG Thunder really don't want them to get this. Do they get the snatch? Nope. Arteezy's fast. He picks up the Aegis and the cheese, gets the cheese off, and then gets the Aegis as well. Now he's killing everybody down in the Rosh pit. Now this Rosh fight was so important for EG to come back in the game. And what went from a 12k advantage for VG Thunder, it's still not that good, right? Because they did have to buy back. If you look at the fight recap, relatively even. DP did buy back. The gold change wasn't too much, but the big deal there was that Luna went down and they got the Aegis and the cheese. He did have to eat the cheese, but now he is holding on to the Aegis. Now this is going to stall the game out for even longer. I'm going to speed it back up again. But at this point, you can see where EG's draft is pretty much online now. Arteezy has so much farm, and VG.J doesn't really know what to do because they completely stomped the early game, but it came with the sacrifice of giving Arteezy absolute free farm. And now he's starting to be a major problem. And it doesn't really matter anymore what his teammates have, right? Samael went for these completely defensive items. You look at Fear's items, went for these completely defensive items. Glimmer, literally Hex, and they're going to throw everything on Arteezy. But because VG Thunder don't have any answer to this terribly, they last picked this Luna for their tempo, their tempo. They wanted to be able to push down towers, push out the waves aggressively. Now, even with a 10k advantage, it feels like EG is by far ahead in this game, especially with this Aegis. Now, EG is going to attempt a high ground push. Arteezy goes ham here. Hold on, let's slow back down. He goes ham, doesn't lose the Aegis, still has Sunder available. but he just gets silenced up here, can't use it, and he'll have to back off now. The Glimmer saving him there. Now, this game is still very close because going high ground against VG Thunder isn't easy as well. They have a Pet Rider, they have an AA, and even though they are worse in the late game, they're not worse at high ground defending. And both teams are even. In a straight-on fight somewhere in the middle of the map, I would give the advantage to EG. But on a high ground fight, where VG Thunder have all the vision in the world to go for the initiation, I would give them the advantage. Now Fade with the sick save plays again, and it's just going to be a bit of stalemate. Now EG is like, alright, we have the Aegis, but we can't end the game right now. It's a bit scary. They will at least want to threaten to end the game, so VG Thunder can't just farm the map, right? By just positioning themselves in this way, it forces VG Thunder to just sit in their base. Right? They have to be always prepared for this high ground defense with all their heroes, otherwise TVs start melting the tower, and even just camp up here on the high ground and get a pick off onto Fade. Not too big of a deal. And I think they're going to do this for the rest of this Aegis. Yeah, the Aegis already expired. TZ's maxed out now with the Butterfly. And the game is going to get stalled out for longer. But now, with all the map control in the world, EG is just regaining this net worth advantage. Now, Metamorphosis coming up again. They're going to take the Tier 3 and they're going to back off. Tier 3 and back off. They know they have the late game for sure, so no big rush. And they're gaining all this advantage back. The score is 30-10, but EG is actually ahead, in my opinion, at this point. Even off the Aegis, is because they have the better late game. Now at this point, like, what is VG Thunder going to do to end the game? They have a maxed out Luna that gets countered by literally Terrorblade pressing Reflection, and he has the talent as well, so it's a very low cooldown, 6-second cooldown on that. And what is Sylar going to do in these teamfights? How does he kill anyone? Right? Ortiz is super tanky, and killing these other heroes just don't feel like they're that important. They also have a decent amount of sustain with the Spirit Siphon, as well as the Dazzle, so the AA Blast really has to be on point, and, I mean, the mashing damage is starting to feel a little bit irrelevant at this point, as these Aphotic Shields are coming out, and EG just have a lot of ways to tank through that damage, not only the Terrorblade illusions as well, and the Weave, also a very big deal. Sylar is not nowhere near dishing out the damage output that Arteezy is, and even if a couple of heroes get caught out, what is their way to kill Arteezy? Now for Kama, I'm going to comment on his build here. He went for like this weird right click slash magic build with the Refresher Aghanims, and he just wants to like dish out as much AoE damage in these fights as possible, but it doesn't pan out too well. I feel like if he just went straight right click, might be better, because he just literally would melt through some of these heroes. But who knows, because the magic is feeling underwhelming. Gotta say that. Now you usually go for a smoke again right when Roshan spawns. This is a classic Fnatic move. They literally count the timer down to the Aegis, and they wait for the Roshan to like as soon as it's about to spawn, they wait like a minute or so, and they go for a smoke. They look for a pick off on anyone as 5, and you see there the A gets caught out, and they just go straight for Roshan. And at this point, it pretty much secures your free Roshan most of the time, especially if you're ahead. And with that classic play there, E inspired, they get another Aegis, Cheese, and the Refresher Shard. At this point, it almost feels like the game is in EG's hands, but we're going to see that VG Thunder actually put on a very good high ground defense. We're going to slow back down here as the game is closing out. So actually just going to pop meta, and with A still being down, they're just going to take a free set of racks. Free set of racks, no big deal. And they're going to look to go bottom and take this racks as well. They're feeling very confident right now. They got the Refresher. They got even buyback, Boots of Travel on Arteezy. But the problem with Arteezy having to buy back is, notice there, they got greedy, right? They thought they were super far ahead, and with Arteezy not actually picking up the Aegis, he does end up going down. He goes down, and they lose not only Arteezy, they lose 5. And there's a little bit greedy going for this. The only reason they're able to go for this was because the AA was down. But with the AA up, they actually got bursted. It gave VG Thunder the confidence to go in for that. I'm not even going to comment on that play, as it was just solid Chinese dono running out of time. Solid Chinese high ground defense. He pretty much hit all their spells perfectly. Got really good at lasso. Focus Arteezy down, make sure he didn't get his thunder off. And now they forced the buyback on Arteezy. Now, EG definitely feeling a little bit scared at this point, because what does Luna end up buying? 6,900 gold? 6,900 gold. They run straight back mid. They take a tier 3 themselves. They force all the buybacks. More importantly, look at the buybacks. Buybacks, buybacks, buybacks. Buybacks, no buyback, no buyback, no buyback. No buybacks on all 3 of their cores. Got buyback on Nyx. Dazzle didn't have the gold. Now, if EG lose a fight, they just straight up lose the game. So they're feeling a little bit anxious at this point. RTZ gonna go for the Satanic for some extra tank. They're like, alright, we're okay. We're gonna continue to push out the map. We just have to be very careful. We gotta stick together. Don't split up. Make sure we don't get like picked off like crazy last or anything like that. And we're gonna be fine. They take the shrine. They continue to put pressure on the map. But Sylar is like, alright, I'm going all in. Oh, wait, never mind. Not yet, not yet. But trust me. He spends his gold soon. So at this point, EG just stick together. They gotta stay as 5. Same play that they did before. Just place a ward here, patient, see if anyone walks up. They don't want to do anything crazy themselves because again, none of their cores have buyback. But there you go. And you saw it. Luna went all in. Went for the Divine Rapier. She knows that one more fight and they actually can win this game if they finish off EG. And EG's seeing that Divine and like, oh crap. We gotta really make sure we don't die in this team fight. We gotta really make sure we execute this properly. If we mess up anything, Sylar kills us all. We're actually just gonna lose. She's gonna just go straight throne. So they're just playing very, very patient, waiting at this ward. Again, they don't want to be the ones making the aggressive. They don't know the buyback status of VG Thunder. They get a kill that might look like, oh, we win the game now. But they just buy back, and they come back in. They lose. However, VG Thunder is like, alright, we had enough of this. We're going to force you to do something, EG. So they run straight down mid with the Divine Reaper. They take the racks, and they start hitting the tier 4s. And they're like, alright, we're going to end this game. But at this point, perfectly, EG comes in with the game-winning team fight here. So Sylar starts hitting the tier 4s. He almost takes out both of them. But he hasn't committed his BKB yet. He will now as RTZ gets next to him, as he doesn't want to get stunned and die with the Divine. But perfect saves. Alright, hold on. Alright. Oops. Went back too far. Hold on. It's end of the game. So let's go slow motion. Half speed. Again, I'm fucking... I can't breathe right now. So I want to get this over with. You hear my voice. I am sick. So believe me there, but Sylar holds on his BK for as long as possible. Now he's afraid of getting stunned when he's next to RTZ. He actually just wants to man up to see if he'd kill RTZ, but that's not happening as the Hex does come out. But poor Staff saves RTZ's life, dodges the A blast. RTZ does get punched in there. Now, RTZ dies here. Game's over. Chained Hexed with the refresher, but Grave comes out. Misery literally suicides himself to Grave RTZ. He gets the stunner off, but RTZ's still falling low. There's man fight 1v1 with Sylar, but stun comes out from crit, and okay, Sylar dead. Everyone dead. Fade, you're dead too. Oh, almost killed RTZ there. Holy crap. So literally everything. Glimmer capes, aphotic shields, 4 staffs used to save RTZ's life. Grave. And he gets the Divine Rapier. He has a cheese as well. And now it's going to be EG on the offensive. They're going to do the same to VG Thunder. But you can see how difficult RTZ was there to kill there. But now it's RTZ with a Divine. And they also wait for Roshan here, I believe. Alright, they wait for Roshan. They get Roshan. And they're like, alright. This is time. We feel confident. They didn't force any buybacks actually, as they just waited. The Luna did buyback. SF didn't, but they're like, all right, we have Divine. Let's go high ground. We have Aegis as well. They give it to RTZ because he doesn't have buyback, and he's gonna take the bottom racks, and he's gonna take the top racks, and they're gonna use Refresher Shura to refresh him. Refresh his Metamorphosis. So he has super long Metamorphosis. He has super long attack range because of his talent. He almost goes down there, but doesn't matter. He still has the Aegis. They claim the Mega Creeps. They force all the buybacks from VG Thunder, and now VG Thunder is in a very bad position. They don't have buybacks. They fed their Rapier. They still have the Aegis. They still have... I don't have Refresher Shard anymore. But EG is going to hold control of the map, and it's pretty easy road to victory at this point. There's not much more to say. They're definitely feeling it at this point. As again, they've reached it late game, and they also reach it late game with a rapier with a significant advantage with mega creeps and like all this gold. And at this point, they're like, all right, we're just gonna end it, and the game is over. So I hope you guys enjoyed this analysis. I definitely suffered through this, but I did my best. Again, I'd probably do a little bit of a better job if once I was sick, but I want to keep the content up. I need to hit 1,000 subscribers by February 20th. I know that's in a while, it's in a whole month, but I just don't want to risk anything. I don't want to get my channel demonetized and have to go through all the process of applying again. It's just a hassle. So I'm keeping up the hustle. If you want to check me out, I do make Pugna guides as well. So I am Hachi on Pugna. If you have a Pugna subscription, you can check out my guides on there. I have 4 guides right now: Lich, Bane, Venge, as well as Spirit Breaker. I'm making another one for Silencer soon, but again, I don't want to record Pugna guides while sick. But for a YouTube video, chill thing, I can do that. And also make sure you subscribe, leave a like down below as well if you like the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out, everyone, and see y'all later.